Bienvenidos. Welcome, everybody, to El Gringo Más Mexicano right here in We Love Nogales. I am joined with my guests, Evan Kory and David Fernandez. Thank you guys so much for coming out.
Gracias.
Thank you. Thanks for being.
So I'm really excited. I've been trying to get Evan on the show for since we started doing the show again. And I've been told by Kevin Martinez specifically, I need to interview David. Yeah, he messaged me months ago and said, you need to interview David. And so finally we got both of you guys here. I'm really excited to talk to you both.
That's great to be here.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the museum opening. We're gonna talk about your show at La Línea, and we're gonna talk about the new art district that's building here on Morley Avenue that I'm really excited about. But we'll get into that right now. First, we're gonna start with events. This actually next weekend is the marathon again. It's back around. So this year I will not be running in it. I did run last year. This year I won't. And I wasn't last place. I ran last year and I was not last place. I'm so proud of myself for that.
I should have run. I would have been last place.
But I am going to be there. I'm actually going to be emceeing, one of the two MCs for the event. And
That's great.
It's going to be fun. And it's the Nogales Marathon and Health Fair, and it's going to be right here on Morley. And immediately after the Health Fair is the city is doing the Fiesta de Flores, the binational Fiesta de Flores. And that's always fun. It's a full day of fun, excitement, booths, vendors, food, all kinds of stuff. Now, that same exact weekend is the horse races. And that's May 6th and May 7th, and it's going to be at the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds. And I actually had a chance to attend this one year when I was actually working at Croppers, and we had cars out there. We didn't sell any cars, but it was pretty cool seeing. I mean, they even have like these tents where you can watch like the Kentucky Derby and the horse races around the country, which was pretty cool. Bob Baffert won't be having horses in this year, unfortunately. Also, coming up this weekend, the most recent event is, as I just said, the Paula Whitner Museum opening, which I'm very, very excited about. You guys have been working really, really hard on.
Yes, and we're opening this Saturday from 12 to 5.
From 12 to 5.
Open to the public. Everyone's welcome.
Awesome. I will be there for sure. And we'll talk about it more. We'll get more into that lately. All right, so that's, if there's any events that we've missed that you can think of, share them to us on Facebook so we can share them with the community. Now let's jump into the news. Let's start off with, so the patriarch of the Panosopoulos family, the family that owns Nogales Property Management, Constantine Dino Panosopoulos, was just indicted in the Fuentes bribery scheme. If you weren't aware, Felipe Fuentes, who was the county assessor last year, was indicted for taking bribes, and that investigation has apparently expanded to the Panosopoulos family and Nogales Property Management. For details on that, you can go ahead and go to the Nogales International. Also, I just learned this today, police chief, so it's no secret that the city has had trouble looking for and keeping city managers. So for right now, there is Roy Bermudez, the police chief, is going to be acting apparently as an interim city manager while they find a candidate, a more permanent selection. Also, last week we had Grecia Solorio, a local artist, a young local artist on the show. She actually just won an award at the Tubac,
Great artist.
the Tubac Center of the Arts. She's an incredible artist, isn't she?
Yeah.
We were here at We Love Nogales. We had the benefit of meeting her years ago when she first was really getting started, and she's grown incredibly as an artist since then. It's amazing. So she won Best in Show at the High Art exhibit at the Tubac Center of the Arts, and 3 students from Rio Rico High School also received recognition. Ivan Campo won a scholarship, and Paulina Fontes and Sergio Cota both received recognition as well. So congratulations to all of you. Well done. Well deserved, too. All right. That wraps up the news. Now we're getting into what you guys are really here for.
Great.
and what I'm really, really excited about. So we're going to start off with an exhibit that you guys have, that David has specifically at La Linea Art Studio currently. And it's at the Wishing Wall.
At the Wishing Wall.
Now, I had a chance to go see your exhibit at Hilltop before. I haven't seen the one at La Linea yet, unfortunately. I'm hoping to see it tomorrow at the open mic, though.
It'll be there till the May 24th, so there's time
plenty
for
of time.
everybody to come
Plenty of
by
time, yeah.
and see it. And we're usually open from 11 till 5 or 6, more or less.
Okay, is that 5 days a week or?
We try to be open 5 days a week, sometimes on the weekends in the mornings, but it's hard with volunteer work.
Of course, yeah, for sure. So you are an incredible artist as well. I mean, you called Gracias Solorio an incredible artist, but you are also an incredible artist. And I loved your work that I saw at the Hilltop, and what I've seen of your work that's at La Linea right now. It's some pretty incredible stuff. At the Wishing Wall, you want to tell me where this came?
Well, at the Wishing Wall is really because I see all these tourists come by to look at the wall, and a lot of them come into La Linea, and most of them, their commentary really is, "I wish this wasn't here." So I started thinking, man, that's the Wishing Wall. Everybody comes to it and wishes
that it wasn't
something,
there.
And also on the southern side, Mexican people come to the wall as well. And they also wish it wasn't there, or they wish they could get across, or they wish something, So to me, it was the Wishing Wall.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So what is there a particular theme to your art that's at this, or is it?
In this show, it's just a retrospective of my work. So
Okay.
the Wishing Wall is because it's near the wall, it's at the wall.
Yeah.
So that's why the title for the show.
So I'm waiting for the picture to come up again, but you have these hanging sculptures, and we were talking about them right before we started airing. You've tried to get them into other shows before, but they're meant to be hung a specific way.
They have been in other shows, but they've always hung on walls, and they're not meant to hang on walls. They're meant to hang in the middle of a room so that they can flow freely and be seen from both directions, both sides of the painting, because it's like two paintings in one. And they're painted with oil paint on a material called mylar, which is a plastic film.
Yeah, like the balloons.
Yeah, and and then there's one that I painted and then slit into like 1/4-inch slits all the way through, so people can actually walk through it.
That's cool.
Take their hand through it, and it sort of sways with the breeze of the movement in the room.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
That's awesome.
meant to fade, right?
It's meant, that was intended to be an ephemeral piece, but it's lasted, 30 years now, I think, more or less, 25 years. So that's the one over here on the top on the right.
This one right there.
And it is falling apart, but it's
not ready to fade yet.
It's not ready to fade yet. It's still surviving,
Awesome.
so it's good. It's a portrait of a Zapatista from the 1994. That's when it was painted.
Awesome.
What's interesting too is that for all of your pieces to make the retrospective, he had to find them all and borrow them back because they're pieces that he had sold in California.
Correct.
Wow.
I had my nephew go around California from house to house to collect all this work.
So some of these are on loan to you.
Most all of them are on loan to
you.
Yeah,
wow.
Most all of them have. Nothing was for sale in the show because everything had everybody
had an owner.
Everything had an owner.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we sold T-shirts and little frames and prints.
There it is. You can see it too.
Yeah.
The ones you can see on the right, those are painted on glass. Those are some of the older pieces I have. They are painted backwards through a piece of glass with spray paint.
Incredible. Very incredible. So this is going to be on display until May 24th, correct?
Correct.
Right. And like you said, they try to be open Monday through Friday, usually 11 to 5?
5, 6, yeah.
5, 6-ish?
Usually, if it's Monday through Friday, someone's always there 4 to 6.
Okay.
Because we have classes.
And,
but we try to. It's an all volunteer team, so we do our
of course.
best to be as open as much as we can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very awesome. No, I love what La Linea Art Studios turned into. I remember when it first started being, gutted. I remember when it was being gutted to turn into this art studio that it is now. And it's been awesome to watch the evolution to, this incredible art space and place for classes, like you said, and things like that. It's really a beautiful addition to our community, which we'll get into more with the last subject. Before we jump into all of the Morley, of what's happening on Morley, let's talk about what's happening this weekend.
Okay.
All right. Both of you guys have been working, and have been amongst the team that have been working tirelessly to prepare this museum for this weekend.
Yes.
And it is the Paula Whitner Museum and Theater, correct?
Yes, it's a performance space as well as a museum.
Yeah, it's got a stage. It's got a
Yeah, and it'll be a permanent exhibition for Paula's artwork.
Okay.
She's incredibly prolific.
I've had
hundreds of paintings. You've seen.
See some of these work.
They're
and amazing.
What she's done is she's been painting for 50 years or more, and she's managed to create really her own universe and language of painting that, it's all coming from her imagination. And what's been really inspiring to me personally, and I think to all of us, is that as we've been hanging the paintings, because we've covered the walls so that there's very few empty spaces.
It's like almost frame to frame.
Yeah, but doing that, you see the themes within them over the years. Because
so there's a method to it. It's.
Yeah, I think there's everything she does is painted with a lot of thought, and it's coming from a place of within herself that I think it's beyond even the conscious mind, and so just seeing how the paintings relate to each other is just really inspiring, and I know that the community is going to love it, and we're just thrilled to be able to do this.
So this grand piano.
Yes.
Are we going to hear you play?
Yes, yeah. So this is my piano that I had in New York, and when I moved back, I brought it back here, and it's been in my bedroom.
Really?
So now it's on a stage, and the idea is to have concerts there of all kinds and theater performances.
It's an old piano, correct?
Yes, yeah. This piano's from 1927.
1927.
Wow.
And it was,
so it's almost 100 years old.
Yes, and it was rebuilt, so the mechanism's new.
Okay.
But a piano's a machine, so over time the parts wear out, and
even us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's amazing to have a piano like this on Morley Avenue downtown. And so I'll be playing at the opening with some friends from the Tucson Symphony. They're going to come down. And we hope to really activate the space and have lots of performances.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever, one question I've wanted to ask you for actually a few years now. Do you compose your own music as well?
Not really, no.
Not
I
really?
improvise a little bit, but I don't write down my own music.
No?
I think as a classical musician, you're an interpreter of great composers' music.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think I'm playing these incredible pieces of music that have been written hundreds of years ago. I've never felt the need to write my own.
Okay.
Maybe like later on in life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I totally get it. I totally get it. That's very cool.
Yeah.
I like that you're an interpreter of these classical works. That's awesome. That's an incredible way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, actually, one thing that I wanted to is you were talking about her art, and you can track her this evolution of the story that she's been painting basically for over 50 years. I want to talk to you, David, about kind of that same subject. Now, for me as a writer, when I'm writing a piece of fiction, it's telling painting is telling the story. Correct. I mean, it doesn't matter if it has people in it. A painting is even a piece of music tells a story. As a writer, even if it's a completely fiction story, there are aspects of what I consider aspects of my soul, pieces of my soul that go into this. Do you consider the same
absolutely.
thing with artwork?
Yeah. You. It's for me. It's a battle. An interior battle to get it out and get it done.
Yeah.
And you pour a lot into it, and once the viewer is in front of it, they can find something completely different out of it. That comes out. And that's also amazing.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about artwork and in all of its forms is it is a reflection of the soul of the creator, right? Of that artwork. But it's done in a way that the viewer can interpret it into themselves. They can see themselves in it.
I've always thought that a work of art really isn't complete until the viewer is in front of it.
Absolutely.
and actually doing their part, giving their part, and receiving something from you. You know.
That's my favorite part about storytelling is inspiring that emotional connection or the unemotional reaction. I mean, in positive, negative, whatever comes across, you know. That's,
In writing, you're creating. It's totally abstract. You're creating a whole world inside of another person's head with the,
I think
with the
painting
words you're
is,
using. You know.
I think painting is the same thing. You're
Yeah.
absolutely creating another world. It's very, very cool. I have so much respect. I've sketched, I've doodled. I'm not great at it. I'm not the worst sketch artist I've ever seen, but I'm not going to be winning any awards anytime soon. But I have so much respect for visual artists, like yourself and Paula Whitner. It's an incredible talent, not just because of the skill that it can take, but because there's a vulnerability to it. I see a vulnerability to creating artwork like this that's admirable, awe-inspiring even. So, continuing with the theme of art, Morley Avenue.
Yes.
We've been trying to revive it for years and years now.
Right.
And starting with the La Línea Art Gallery, it's kind of morphed into a project to turn Morley Avenue into an art district.
Correct.
So tell me how that came to be, what's
Sure.
happened, and where we're going.
Sure. So, a little over a year ago, the Santa Cruz County created a grant program for nonprofit organizations through the ARPA money, which is the American Rescue Plan Act.
Yeah.
So the county received this money, COVID relief money, and they decided to use a portion for grants for nonprofits. And the requirement was that the organizations applying had to partner with other organizations to create larger projects, essentially. And one of the things they suggested is an arts district. As an example, they said, you know, a group of organizations can come together to create an arts district. And so seeing what's been happening down on Morley, with La Línea, with the Cultural Arts Committee doing their street festivals, Circles of Peace moving down here, the NCD with the kitchen that's coming up. We all got together and said, well, you know, let's work together and create some synchronicity between what we're doing. And that's what we did when we applied for the grants. And Santa Cruz Advocates for the Arts applied for the Whitner Museum.
Okay.
So they received a grant to do that project. And so there's nothing formal about it, but we have a group, a committee that meets, and we've shared ideas, and we all update each other on the projects that we're working on. And the plan is to create a website, actually, that Matt Bevel Company out of Patagonia, Paula Shaper, is designing for the partners of that arts district.
Okay.
And that'll be coming out late May.
Late May.
Yeah, late May.
Next month? About a
Yeah,
month
next month.
from now.
Yeah, so we've had meetings about the website. There's a design, there's a logo.
Okay.
And
So we'll actually have a name to the art district, basically.
yes, yeah. And the idea is, we don't know how it'll evolve, but I think it will evolve, right?
Of
Things
course.
will happen, and that's
I think that's a great
our
way
hope.
to do it too. I think
Yeah.
not making it so structured and rigid, and leaving it open to be able to evolve and to whatever it becomes.
Exactly.
It's cool. I think that's so cool. I had no idea that it was these different organizations that were all
Yes.
working independently, but also together to
Yes.
turn this into something completely unique and special to the community.
Yeah, and once once the grant term of the year is over, all of these projects like the Whitner Museum, Pimeria Alta Historical Society is part of it. They sponsored the mural that Carlos Ibarra is painting.
Okay.
Which is a beautiful depiction of Ambos Nogales and the history and the iconic buildings. Once those are all underway, I think we'll have an idea of like what's next.
Okay.
And that's the hope, that more projects keep happening, more people get involved.
All right.
And yeah.
So we've got La Línea, We've got the Paula Whitner Museum. Like I said, we've got Circles of Peace. We've got the Cocina. We have our studio up here, upstairs,
Correct.
just upstairs from the studio and from the museum. And I mean, Tony Plack's got an art studio opening up, right? So
And his show's coming up on June 10th.
yeah,
At
and
La
so
Línea,
Tony
yeah.
Plack, a good friend of the show, is going to have a exhibition at La Línea also,
La Línea.
like I said, in June.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean,
And
lots of
probably more things too. Yeah, and I think that the important thing is that as a community, we have to share that information, right, and get it
Absolutely.
online, because a lot of people visit and don't know what's going on, or and I think that's something we can all improve on, and that's our mission, I think, to.
It's wonderful that our events are bringing people downtown again.
Yes,
The downtown
for sure.
had been abandoned for a long, long time, you know, really strictly visited by people from across the line that were, you know, looking for a cheap buy. But now, you know, everybody's coming downtown again.
Yeah,
Hopefully
it's
that'll grow
awesome. Yeah.
more. It'll create more community.
Right.
hopefully, and some investment in the community too. I mean,
Yes.
beyond just, I mean, we grew up here, so we know the perspective that a lot of youth particularly have of the community. It's you know, and I think that's across the board with a lot of towns where kids are like, well, I don't want, I hate this town. I want to get out of here, right? That's not, I'm not saying that all kids hate this town. But there's I mean, maybe a lack of understanding of the things that are happening, just because you want to, because there's more exciting things happening outside, right? But to make things exciting here for kids, for families, for young adults, and for everyone, you know, for the whole community,
Right.
is I think an incredible step.
Well, and especially downtown, which has so much history and character and charm, and the walkability of downtown that you can, you know, explore, and you don't have to drive places. You can just walk, and seeing like the courthouse here and how that's been activated by the school superintendent's office and all the events they do. I think that more and more people are interested in downtown. Mariposa Road is great, but it looks like everything else in the United States, right?
Exactly.
So
Strip malls.
yeah, and I don't know. I hope that people are interested in opening businesses down here and thinking a little outside the box too.
Awesome.
That's what people value.
And I like that a lot of the historical nature of it is being preserved in this process. I mean, we just missed the picture, but the museum used to be a cigar.
Yeah, cigar factory.
Cigar factory.
It was called Las Dos Naciones, and it opened in the 1890s and was a very successful cigar factory for roughly 30 years.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
There it was, and there it went.
But it's actually the building is on the historic National Registry of Historic Places.
Oh wow! Okay.
Like the courthouse.
Yeah.
It's one of the oldest buildings on Morley, and it's structurally very sound, and it's a brick building, as you can see. At one time, they employed, I read, 60 employees that were making the cigars. And what they did is, with the train station right in front and the train tracks, they would bring in tobacco from Veracruz and unload it and just wheel it into this front door.
Wow.
And they had a basement that I think still kind of smells like cigars a little bit.
Really?
But yeah.
That's kind of a cool feature, though. I mean, I don't know. Stale cigars might not be that great, but
Yeah. And then the studio we're in now is the upper portion of the building, which is where I'm assuming some of these workers probably lived and slept.
Probably.
And then there's another house on top that has been restored beautifully, and so it's nice to use these old buildings and bring them back to life. I mean, who would have thought that it started as this and now it's going to be the Whitner Museum? It's like, I don't think anyone could have predicted that.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Now I want to pause right here for a second. As somebody who loves horror stories and loves to create horror stories, there's that one picture right there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah.
It's like spinning the story in my head already.
Yeah, you know, I made a print of this to put in the bathroom of the museum, and I made an 8x11 and a 5x7. Okay. The 8x11, that just looked too intense. So I put the 5x7 in the frame, and that's like,
Very, very cool. So
Yeah.
cool. Before we go to the next part of the interview, is there anything that you guys like? Any stories about this? The process of doing all these things that you guys are willing to share or something?
Sure, yeah. Well, what was interesting about restoring the building was it was a lot of undoing of things, right? So there was a ceiling, one of those drop ceilings that you see in offices, that we took out, and turns out that the original wood ceiling was there.
Oh, wow.
So it raised the ceiling like 4 feet, and then you had all of this wood that we were able to paint, and
that's awesome.
and it looks great, yeah. And a lot of times we can do a lot of damage over time, the weight to buildings, and so it's like bringing the integrity back to the original ideas has been very gratifying.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. So I said that they're working tirelessly, and I actually really mean that. When they came into the studio and they sat down on the couch, both of them were like, "Oh, finally a chance to sit down." Yeah.
Chance to rest.
So I want to appreciate. Express my appreciation for what you guys both are doing, and the whole La Linea team and everybody that's working with the art district. The work that you guys have done on La Linea. Every time, like you were talking about, every time there's a new exhibit, it's a major overhaul, an installation that you guys are doing to swap these out.
Well, it's a huge team effort. Like with the Whitner Museum, for example, the paintings are very heavy. You need at least 4 people to hang one. Yeah. So
is it the frames? I imagine the canvas.
No, well, many are painted on masonite.
Oh, wow.
So they're wood.
So they're heavy,
panels.
and you have to climb a ladder up, 12 feet in the air.
Yeah.
So it takes 4 people to hang one painting.
Incredible.
Yeah. And what I was thinking about this too with La Linea, we've been there now a little over 3 years, and we've developed this team, of friends that we just know if shows coming, all right, we all got to do our part. We all have jobs and work, but somehow it always comes together, and
luckily there's more people that are always walking in the door saying, "How can I help? What can I do?"
Yeah, of course.
Just start coming in. You'll figure out how you can help and where you fit in. Everybody finds a spot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's the beauty of the community that's being built, and you can do so much more when you have a community to work with, and I guess that's an invitation too to people that come visit us if they want to get involved.
Yeah,
we're right there. Just come on in, and we're there to meet people too.
And tomorrow night is a good time to start.
Yes.
The monthly open mic is tomorrow night, right?
Yes.
At La Linea, what time?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right. So open mic, La Linea Art Studio in Morley.
Yep.
At 6 o'clock tomorrow.
We welcome poets, the musicians, storytellers. Even if somebody wants to do a skit or the comedy act, everything's welcome.
That's awesome.
People also come in and they do sketching and painting right there on the floor.
Like Bob Ross style?
Yeah. And it's every month, every last Wednesday of the month.
Every last Wednesday of the month. Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. I've been invited for months and I haven't had a chance to go yet.
Oh, tomorrow's the day then.
I'm planning to make it tomorrow. So I'm hoping that nothing gets in the way.
Okay, sounds good.
For sure. All right, now time to get to the fun stuff. Okay. Are you guys ready? So this is a new segment that we started last week. And it's a trivia sort of game show type segment. There are no prizes except for bragging rights, maybe,
Okay.
Of course. But it's been fun.
Okay.
All right, so the first 4 questions have to do with art and music trivia. All right, so both of you guys, this should be easy, right? All right.
You're setting us up for failure.
Who painted the Madonna of Bruges, the sculpture of Mary holding the baby Jesus, currently at the Church of Our Lady in Belgium? It's one of this classical artist's least famous works.
Is it Van Eyck? No.
Rembrandt?
Go back further. Quite a bit further.
Gosh. I don't know.
I
know the piece. I know it's a triptych, right?
It's a statue, actually.
Oh, a statue.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know.
You don't know? There is. I know the triptych
Yeah.
of the Madonna.
The
But
altarpiece, yeah.
But that's not this one. This one you have to go quite a bit back. Actually, it was Michelangelo.
Oh,
One
wow.
of his from what I understand, his least famous of his works.
And it's in Belgium.
Yes, it is in Belgium. Now this one actually also has to do with Michelangelo. I don't know how far back your art history goes, like your acumen. Wow. But I chose to focus on Michelangelo for whatever reason.
Okay.
All right. This one actually I know why, because it's funny to me. But which Michelangelo sculpture was recently a point of controversy in one school district due to the full frontal nature of the subject?
That would have to be the David, I would imagine.
That is the statue of
Your
David.
namesake.
The David was built backwards. It had already been started, and the holes drilled. He had to measure each hole to see what was in there before
Really?
he could come back and do the actual David.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so some other artist had already begun another sculpture on that big piece of marble.
Wow. And he just went and he...
Yeah, he had to, because you drill in first to the points where you're going to cut away the mass, and then you start doing the fine detail. It had already been drilled.
Wow. Have you ever worked with marble before?
No, never marble.
You know, a lot of people think the David is the largest nude sculpture in the world, but
not.
it's actually in Monovici.
Yeah.
Really?
Across the line, yeah. Just to tie it back.
Awesome. Yep. Just, to stay on the subject of nude sculptures. All right. So jumping into music trivia. Since we just had the Charles Mingus Festival, which you participated in, right?
Yeah, it was great.
With Ken Tittlebaugh's
Yes.
alumni band.
Yeah, we
right?
did the Dixieland band and the big band too.
Very cool. How
was
did
great.
it go? I wasn't able to make it. I mean,
Oh, it was amazing.
It was a
Wonderful time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first time I paraded in with a Mardi Gras umbrella.
So I
dancing.
actually saw a video. I saw the video on Facebook.
Yeah. Only Mr. T would be able to get me to do that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it
So
was great.
well, before I get into the question, one thing that I really love about the Mingus Festival is, yes, it is cool that Charles Mingus came from here, but he only lived here until he was a couple years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think to me the celebration of of Charles Mingus and Nogales is why he was here, and it's a celebration of Black history in Santa Cruz County, which is we don't talk about nearly enough. And then,
Camp Little and the Buffalo Soldiers.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
it's to me that's really what we're celebrating. I love jazz music. I absolutely love jazz music. I played in my jazz band in middle school, played in the jazz band all through high school. Real jazz, not Kenny G jazz. Yeah, that's not jazz. But Charles Mingus, the it's chaos and it's melody and it's just comes together to be beautiful. But I really love that this celebration is a celebration of the Black history of Santa Cruz County.
Mm-hmm.
All right, question 3. Ready?
Ready.
Which Charles Mingus composition is most often recorded by other artists to this day?
Jelly Roll.
It isn't. So I thought it was going to be Jelly Roll too. Okay, and I've got to admit that this
Pork pie hat.
that's the one.
Oh.
That's the one. It was of the list that I had thought it would be. That was not the one that but it was Goodbye Pork Pie Hat. Good job.
Nice, David.
Yeah, you just got a point. I think he's actually got 2 points now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't got any.
All right. Which 2 instruments was Charles Mingus most proficient in and most famous for? Aside from his overall compositions, what specific 2 instruments?
Double bass.
Piano.
And piano. All right. So you both get half a point. You got half a point.
All right.
You got half a point, Evan. All right. So this one, I know that you love local history.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I
We
remember.
both do. David
yeah.
too. Yeah.
So you guys, these ones should be pretty easy for you. There are some specific dates that you might not get, but I think that you'll probably get the general area of them. All right. The first non-geographical physical barrier between the United States and Mexico was built right here in Nogales, Arizona. Construction on this barrier took place between which years? A, 1899 to 1905, B, 1909 to 1911, or C, 1912 to 1916?
C.
C.
C? Oh,
No.
man, you guys both
What?
failed.
Oh,
What?
Yep.
Wasn't it after like the?
I thought it was after the battle.
Mexican
No, it was
Second battle.
before. It was even before the first Battle of Nogales.
wow.
1909
Oh, you mean
to
like the
1911.
wire fence, the little
Yeah,
one.
the little wire fence. That's the
Oh.
very first physical barrier, like with that little.
Oh, with the
the
obelisk.
post. Yeah, the obelisk that
Obelisks.
was there. 1909 to 1911. It was B.
Okay.
All right.
That would be
Good
true.
question.
No, the proclamation was McKinley, right? That
Yeah.
made those 60 feet.
Yep. All right. So, Nogales used to be home to a U.S. Army fort, originally called Camp Nogales. What year was Camp Nogales established?
Want to guess?
I would say about 1912.
You're very close. You want to take it back just a little bit?
1908.
1910
19
is actually right as they were building that first barrier.
First barrier.
Wow.
Yeah. I
What
expected.
happened those years?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think that was right at the start of more or less the Mexican Revolution hadn't gotten to what it is, but I think that they were probably anticipating.
Yeah, you had to protect the territory,
Yeah.
sovereignty.
And it was right before we were established as a state too. So that was probably in anticipation for that as well. All right. In December 1915, Camp Nogales was renamed to honor a young soldier. This is an easy one. This is a really easy one. A young soldier killed in a shootout with Villistas and Carrancistas in a battle commonly referred to as the Second Battle of Nogales. What was the camp renamed to?
Stephen Little.
Camp Stephen D. Little. Yes.
It's a miracle.
All right. Now, this is definitely the most important question, and this does have to do with Nogales and Santa Cruz County history, a little bit more recent history, but equally vital. Equally vital. In the summer of what year did the future of Nogales and Santa Cruz County change following the birth of author, columnist, podcaster, and all-around incredible human being, Joseph Paul Wright?
Everyone should know that date.
Absolutely right. I mean, not just here,
Yeah,
everybody.
Everywhere, yeah.
1995.
Oh, no.
I'm going to guess 87.
So close. It is actually 86.
Oh, that's my year too.
Yep, summer of 86. What month were you?
March.
March. Okay, so you're a couple months, just a couple months older than me.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yep, summer of 1986, this came into this world.
I took 10 years off of you.
I know. Thank you.
What a nice
Appreciate it.
compliment.
I looked at you and said, yeah, 96.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much. This has
Thank
been
you.
this has been great. I've loved talking to you guys about, everything that you guys are doing, the hard work you guys are putting in, talking about music and art. Those are the things that I really love. I really love talking about those kinds of things. So I thank you guys for coming on here and indulging me.
Our pleasure. Yeah,
Man,
thank
it's
you.
been great. I hope everybody comes on Wednesday to Alinea for
Yeah.
open mic night.
La Linea tomorrow, 6 p.m.,
Yep.
6 a.m. Imagine.
For coffee.
All right, so La Linea tomorrow at 6 p.m. and
Wednesday, April 26th.
yes, Wednesday,
Yes.
April 26th.
And the Whitner Museum, April 29, Saturday, anytime between 12 and 5.
Just
will be
show
open.
up. It'll be like an open house type of thing. And
Yep.
people come in. All right, very cool. So yeah, come down on Morley, check it out. Check out the incredible artwork. Check out the work that these guys have been doing to restore the building and it's all the awesome stuff that's been going on. And I imagine La Linea will be open during that time too. If people wanted to walk down to La Linea, would they be able to go check it
Yeah,
out?
then they can
Yes.
do both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They can
good
do
idea.
both.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank
Great.
you guys again. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, if you're watching this on Facebook, to give this video a like, share it around. If it's on YouTube, again, like it, share it, subscribe to We Love Nogales. And also, if you have an Amazon Fire or a Roku TV, we have a channel now. We have a We Love Nogales channel that you can download on your Amazon Fire or your Roku, and you can watch all of our episodes, stream them all at your leisure. We've got some incredible stuff that we've talked about, incredible artists, incredible members of the community that we talk to on a regular basis. So learn their stories. go to We Love Nogales, our app, or the website, or Facebook, YouTube, all of it, and check out the stories of Nogales and Santa Cruz County, the whole valley.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.